Well, and you said this a second ago that, and I kind of want to jump into talking about Mario Cristobal here. You mentioned how Dabo gets more criticism sometimes, it feels like, than Mike Norvell does. I would argue Mario
Mario,
Cristobal even more
right?
gets criticized a lot. And he had a really bad first season at Miami. He had an improving second season, but a sloppy finish. A really strong third season with another sloppy finish, but still a 9-3 regular season record year. I think a lot of people forget how good Mario Cristobal was when he was at Oregon. Two-time Pac-12 champion. He was 3-5 in bowl games, but 84-76 overall as a head coach. He is a well-decorated coach, and he's been successful at recruiting. He has had more success in a shorter period of time at Miami, minus the ACC championship, but like of steady growth and improvement. There hasn't been a step backward for Mario. He's in year 3. Do you remember how much we hyped up Mike Norvell after year 3? Why the hell is Mario Cristobal getting criticized for basically having the same exact record? That's what's batshit to me.
Well, and what's crazy is through 3 years, it's not the same. Mario has more wins.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So
this year was a failure for that. Sorry, continue. We were going to say. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say, just so we're on the same page, because we're kind of going all over the place, but I have Mario Cristobal at 3, and so do you. So let's get into Mario Cristobal on our rankings here. I see this in the chat, and Joe, I'm going to bring this up because it's going to be the interesting conversation that we have here. Sam says, has Mario Cristobal peaked? Here's the thing about Mario. Dude, I got to be real with you, even though more than Bill Belichick, and we'll get to Bill. I almost did put him at 2. I almost did because of all the accolades that you talked about. The thing with Mario is that you have the non-kneel down against Georgia Tech. You have the situations this year where every single time that you have to overcome those obstacles, whether it be in the Pac-12 game, Joe, whether it be in the beginning of the season against Auburn, when you're literally playing a true freshman, first-time starter ever, true freshman, green freshman, Bo Nix, who ironically goes to Oregon, right? And then the transfer portal, you can't get over the hump. You're losing to a 6-6 Auburn team. The thing with Mario is, and the question about him peaking, Joe, I do think that they're going to have sustained success at Miami. Because they're recruiting too well, I think they'll have sustained success, and they may be a good team this year. The thing for me with Mario Cristobal is just what Sam asked. It's not about him peaking. It's can he ever get over the hump? Think about this. We put more pressure on Ryan Day, Dabo Swinney, all these Brian Kelly, all these Steve Sarkisian for what it's worth. We did this to Kirby. They can't get over the hump. But here's the truth. There's been a 7-year window for Mario Cristobal here where either at Oregon or Miami, when the going got tough, he hadn't overcome it. So I agree that he deserves on this list to be number 3. The question for Mario moving forward, he recruits well. I think they develop well. Joe, can he get over that hump? It's going to be the ultimate question for him.
Well, the definition of what that hump is, he has Pac-12 championships, so he's won conference championships before. I think it's like the interesting debate of like, now can he win an ACC championship? I would argue that the ACC is easier. This conference right now at the current moment is easier.
Could they beat Clemson this year? That's the question that you're ultimately asking. Yeah, they can beat. Yes, they can beat Clemson.
Yes,
right.
And they should be in contention to compete with and to beat Clemson this year. And that's where I think is a fair milestone to put over his head. I think it is a fair thing to place over him and say, okay, you're in year 4. You have shown this line of progression. And we were excited for Mike Norvell when he showed this line of progression. You now need to do what Mike Norvell did in year 4, and you need to win the conference. Now, it doesn't feel like Cristobal has that same super sexy roster that Norvell had when he won the conference 2 years ago, or sorry, a year ago, what's going to eventually be 2 years ago. But he still, I think, needs to prove that. I just overall come away with all this thinking it's really bizarre to me that at the end of the season, everybody portrayed it to be such a disaster when different guys on similar timelines at their schools and their first time at their schools in year 3, we have applauded their accomplishments. Sam also pointed out here, and he said that I think it's the chaotic ways that Miami wins and loses. It kind of hurts the viewpoint, and there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of times that happens.
Not just at Miami either that he's done this now.
Yeah, he just, whenever he loses it in such a dumbfoundingly frustrating way that makes us think like, man, can he actually handle this stuff? Does he know what he's doing?
Let me ask you a question. Name 2 coaches that have had 2 top 10 quarterbacks that have been drafted that have not gone to a playoff.
I don't know.
I mean, I would assume that Cam Ward's going to be a top 10 pick.
He's going to be the first overall pick.
Okay. Justin Herbert was in the top 10. Was he not?
I think he was top 7.
Okay. Joey, he got to a Pac-12 championship game and lost to Utah and didn't go to the playoff that year.
Fair.
Right? I mean, and so, again, when we talk about these 7-year windows, here's the thing for me with Miami. Miami's not remotely close to peaking. Cristobal may. Miami's not remotely close.
No.
I mean, you're throwing so much money out there that it should be an automatic thought that you're going to win the ACC. The ACC for me is up for grabs, if I'm being honest. Who's going to dominate that conference is up for grabs, and can Mario Cristobal do it will be the ultimate question. You mean to tell me that you're recruiting better, or that you're not recruiting better than Clemson? You know what they are doing better than you, though? They're developing better than you. They have a guy on the sidelines that is, in between the headsets, a little bit better than you. And then, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call a